Hi, what's your story? My name is Susie Porter, and I help women rewrite their lives so they can create their happily ever after. And today I want to talk about the victim storyline, the victim character, the victim identity. I know nobody's favorite word is victim. And the interesting thing about the victim character is that two people might experience, the same circumstance, and one character might define themselves as a hero while the other character sees themselves as a victim. Now, I want to say that I never want to judge anyone, even a fictional character, for choosing to see themselves as a victim. Many of us aren't even conscious that we're choosing that identity. It got programmed into us when we were very young children, and we might not even be aware of it. I certainly wasn't for most of my life, my adult life. And on the outside, we might look super cool, calm, collected, confident, brave, but inside, in here, in our minds, we might be quaking in fear, insecurity, or self-loathing. I laugh because that was me for most of my life too. Identity is a tricky thing because there's our internal state, our inner dialogue, the thoughts in our head, and then there's our outer facade, the mask we show the world. I wish I could remember where I read this, but one author called it our representative. We send her out into the world and she represents us. But who is the real us? And how can we recognize her? One way I realized that I had a deeply embedded victim identity is that I noticed how I felt. I found myself feeling angry, hurt, or triggered a lot. I realized and I noticed that I was feeling angry, hurt, triggered, like just too much. And these feelings could lead to ruminating upon some situation that happened for years, literally years, and a loop of negative thoughts about that person or what happened or what she did or what they did or what she said would get stuck in my head like a dog with a chew toy, just chewing and chewing and chewing. And it would create endless misery, depression, just hell in my mind. Here's a red flag, or not a red flag, but sort of maybe an alarm bell that you might have a victim identity. No blame, no shame, okay? If you hear people say, oh, just let it go already, or get over it. Sometimes the reason why we can't let it go or we don't let it go, we can't get over it and we won't get over it is because there is a deeper need for healing. There might be a victim identity hiding in your mind, in your story somewhere. This is nothing to feel bad about. Human beings are born helpless and dependent. And even babies with the most loving, responsive, sensitive parents experience some kind of shock and even small trauma with a small t. Being born is a shock. Being human and growing up in a world that's not always aware and sensitive to what a young child needs can make many of us feel like victims. So, what changes a character's identity from a victim to a hero, from weak to strong, from powerless to powerful? It's perspective. The Course in Miracles says a miracle is a shift in perception. So instead of focusing on the pain, the character can focus on how she survived, how she did everything she could to grow and adapt and respond to the situation. Now, again, there is no blame. The reason that I focused on the pain for most of my life was because I was still scared. And to let go of that wound or that pain would be just to put myself in the jaws of the lion. This is all unconscious, right? That's why unconscious beliefs are a motherfucker. That's what they are. They will ruin your life. They're sneaky because they're hidden. If we take a deeper look at our lives, especially those experiences in our lives that brought us pain, we can tell that story in a way that gives us inspiration and empowers us and can be a source of strength rather than to deepen our entrenched victim. It can unentrench our victim identity. We can set ourselves free. You know, I say all this stuff, and I gotta say, all of these things are theories and ideas and truths, but I'm saying this from this stage of my life. In my 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, I've worked really, really, really hard to get to this place of being able to forgive. So I would never in a million years, while I would say, you got to forgive because you can either have a grievance or a miracle, I would never say it's easy, especially those things that hurt the worst, right? So forgiveness is one of those words, just like God and Jesus and money and marriage. There are words that just have thousands of years of baggage. So it's very hard to use those words without, I'm afraid you're going to, jump to other conclusions. So uh, forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself. You set yourself free from all that negative hatred and anger and grievance within you. But you can only forgive when you're ready. You can decide to forgive and you can say the words, but in my experience, I can say, oh, forgive him, but it might take, it depending on the situation, some time to get to the other side of that hurt and anger and that complete, real, authentic, genuine release. So one simple writing exercise to begin to shift your narrative could be to say, I am the hero of my story because, and then write your life. Or everything happened perfectly because. Now, that one I had a really hard time with. That one was our first writing assignment in a writing class I took with Martha Beck. And the victim in me did not want to say it was all perfect because the victim in me wanted to write, it was all terrible because all the world needs to know because I'm not safe and nobody protected me and I'm terrified. Help! That was my story. Help! So it might take some time to unearth your victim identity, to even realize it's there, and then to shift that perspective. Signs of a victim identity: you often feel unlucky or resentful or angry or jealous or envious. And all of these things I'm saying from personal experience, zero judgment. You feel, this was one that really was ruining my life. You feel as if, well, that works for them or that works for everyone else, but it doesn't work for me. You have an overall sense of helplessness or depression, or you feel stuck in unhealthy patterns. You keep dating the same guys, doing the same mistakes, feeling the same kind of shame. Like with me, it was like, oh my God, I opened my big mouth again. Why am I always the one in the middle? So the first thing to do, first, middle, and always, is to give yourself infinite compassion, radical acceptance, and love. And forgive you. Forgive yourself. Forgive that little kid that you were, that was programmed to believe all this bullshit, that you're weak, that you're a victim, that you're bad. You're strong. You're a victor. You're a hero. And you're innocent. That is, was, and always will be the truth about all of us. So, victim, hero, same story, same person. You just shift your perspective. And take away all judgment. If you were writing a novel or a play or a movie, you couldn't write a character while judging the character. It somehow wouldn't, the creativity wouldn't flow, right? That's why art is so necessary for our world. We have to have a place where everyone's loved, good guys and quote bad guys, right? So victim, hero, actually, if you study archetypes, they're Carolyn May said that General Patton, famous, brave, courageous, was the biggest coward of all. He was covering up his fear. So, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. The most helpless victims become the most strongest badass warriors. That is the truth. There's so much evidence. So much evidence. Oprah Winfrey, Joan of Arc, me. Because when you work through, and it doesn't matter how long it takes, years, decades, when you work through your victim identity and you get to the other side, the strength and the fortitude and the determination and the grit, popular word right now, grit, that it took to get to the other side and to let go that attachment to that wound and that pain, to let it go. When you get to the other side, all of that becomes alchemized into your strength, your sensitivity. The very thing that made you vulnerable to wounding and pain becomes your strength, your superpower, the power to overcome. When you've been hurt so bad and you just surrender and you let it go, who can hurt you? You've already been there. So I say, victims unite. Let the other side, let the victor archetype have her say now. You are not the victim. You are the hero. You are my hero. You are our hero. And we need you. We need your strength, your love, your forgiveness. We need your story. God bless you.